Hi, gorgeous seekers, and welcome to Moon Magic. I'm sitting here on my sofa. I'm feeling very cozy today, and I think that's so fitting for the Libra new moon that we have this month. And I think we'll all be a little bit refreshed by this new moon. The Pisces full moon closed out a very powerful lunar cycle. From the Aquarius to the Pisces full moon, there was a lot of growth. I think we can all agree there was a huge amount of growth. I know the Pisces full moon shook up a lot of foundations, had us all looking and checking in. So this Libran full moon is very playful and adventurous. It's very connected, and it is getting highlighted by, I think, three planets that really value adventure and diving in, which is Uranus, Jupiter, and Venus. And those three planets are having conversations and highlighting the freshness and the brilliance of this new moon. So I'm really excited to talk with you about it, because this is a moon that really ties into that bohemian ideal of truth, love, and beauty. When I think of a tarot card actually for this moon, I think of the Fool. It's about taking that next right step and trusting that even though you don't have control over most of the things that are going to happen next, and even over the next month, you're not going to know all the elements that are going to go into your energetic cycle. You're going to have to just choose to go on the adventure, right? So let's talk through the moon and talk through some of these bigger things coming up. So this new moon in Libra is happening on September 28th. It's going exact at 11:26 a.m. Pacific time. So the day of September 28th and into the 29th, depending on what time zone you're in and all of that, you'll be noticing that there's this freshness, there's this crispness to the way you're thinking about things, kind of this openness, like a gentle opening of the heart. The sun and the moon are conjunct. That's what makes it a new moon at 5 degrees of Libra. And Libran energy, air energy uses the mind, right? So we're in Libran season. We're fully in Libran season. We've been working with Libran energy a lot leading up to this new moon. Venus and Mercury have been moving through, and there's a lot of this vibrant, playful, connective, conversational energy that Libra brings. Libra can be about the intensity of connection, but it's also about the playfulness, the flirtatiousness, the openness, the hopefulness, the curiosity that comes with that energy, and finding balance and harmony and rhythm in the way that we take steps. Now, the balance that you're finding here is, like I just mentioned, you have to kind of take that next bold action, take that joyful next action, step into the adventure, and still accept that you don't have all the control. And I say that because, we have this beautiful, soft, sweet, nurturing new sun-moon conjunction in Libra, which I think is just really genuinely a soft placement. It is perfectly quincunxing Uranus in Taurus. So a quincunx is one of those things, it's a 5 sign apart thing. So it's not an opposition. It's not a square, it's not a trine or a sextile. It's this odd transit aspect that comes up. And what I often find with quincunxes is it's kind of like unexpected growth. It's kind of growth in a way that you didn't foresee. A square is going to show you exactly where you're hitting up against something that is uncomfortable. The sextile is going to work with you, trine's going to work with you, and opposition is going to highlight and mirror something back to you so you can see it clearly. A quincunx is going to be kind of coming out of left field and be like, hey, surprise, here's a new solution, here's a new road, here's a new pathway. And especially with Uranus in the mix. Uranus is the revolutionary. He rules Aquarius traditionally, but he's in this long transit in Taurus that we're all getting used to, and he's really perfectly aspecting this new moon. So the moon and the sun, and so what that's bringing in is this kind of vibrant, adventurous shakeup, right? What you're doing now and how you're saying yes to the adventure now is not how you would have said yes to the adventure even 2 months ago. And I want to highlight here, a lot of times when I'm talking about these moons, we kind of think of oh, maybe this moon's going to bring up these insane situations in my life. You know, this person's going to call me, this house is going to fall through, what have you. But a lot of times the way that these kind of shakeups happen are really interesting. They're in the subtle ways we show up to our day to day. Maybe it's in, you know, getting that impulse to clean out your closet when you never do that and you like to hold on to things, and suddenly you feel this desire to shift that around. It can be in finding inspiration in the way you wake up in the morning and the way you go to bed. It can be in really seeing and visualizing how you want to put your energy forward. So this energy is very supportive for shaking up your routine and for getting those sudden brilliant gusts of bursts, I guess is the right word, bursts of insight about how you want to shift your routine, your habits, who you are, how you want to show up on the adventure and the journey and this next unfolding. Because, you know, we are authentically ourselves. We have a core being, right, that we carry with us that is learning. We have a core consciousness that I think, you know, it morphs. But the way we visualize ourselves, the way we mythologize ourselves, and even the way we move through things does go through subtle changes. And there are times when it's just time to reassess your agreement with your inner self. Reassess your agreement with how you want to show up as the character in your own story. And this new moon is one of those new moons where it's you get the chance to draft up a new agreement with yourself. You know, nobody said you have to be the morning person. Nobody said you have to be a night owl, right? It's if you feel that shift, this is no longer what feels like home to you. This is no longer what feels like a good routine to you. This is no longer how you associate with love or friendship or connection. This Quincunx with Uranus is really going to give you that fresh perspective, and it's going to boost you up. And so it's very imaginative, really playful, and it's also going to give you that jolt in life where, like I said, you're not going to be able to see 20 steps from now. And I've said this once before, I've said it many times before, but just because you have step 1 or 2 and you know that those feel really good at that intuitive gut level does not mean that you are automatically delivered steps 3 through 100. You don't need that information, right? And you won't be able to get it past a certain point. Now, so you got to kind of relax into this, right? You're going to get jolts of energy. You're going to be really excited, and there's going to be a part of you that just wants more answers, more energy. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's expand. And that's where we just have to take a deep breath. This is a new moon. New moons are about going into our shadow, going into our rich, ooey gooey, unseen sides, and taking some time to parse through it all. So enjoy the playful and very experimental energy that this moon is bringing up. We're not done though, because there's another really nice conversation going on here, and I'm particularly fond of this one. So Venus is at home in Libra at 17 degrees of Libra and doing a perfect sextile with Jupiter and Sag. Oh yeah, and Jupiter is at home in Sag too. So these planets are both at home. They're in an air sign and a fire sign, and they're making this perfect sextile. And Libra and Sag are very flirtatious, adventurous energies. They want to connect. They want to get close. They want to play. They want to find out. And Venus and Jupiter, when you think about these planets, right? Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, all those good things. She's home in Libra. She's feeling good. Sextiling Jupiter, which is the dreamer, the visionary, the expander. You can imagine how hopeful and buoyant this energy is. It really is about opening that heart. It's about opening fully to the adventure. And there's kind of this sense of like playful risk taking going on when you have a sextile conversation like that. That's so buoyant, that's so jovial. And like I said, all of the conversations going on for this moon are very much about playfulness, experimentation, getting out there, trying something. So you may feel kind of bold during this new moon. Now whenever there's a big hit of energy like that, it's always like, watch yourself, listen to what you have to say internally, write it down, explore it, let it sit, and see if it's still true a couple days later. 5 of Cups. I feel like that card likes to come out when I do moon magics, and I'm always like, huh, interesting. It kind of makes sense. I feel like we can always check in with where we are shedding, where we are releasing, where we are opening, and where we are ready to turn the page, because I think Ace of Swords. I think the Five of Cups, one of the key components of this energy is that it is the duality and the honoring of, yes, there is such a thing as grief, and there is such a thing as a moment where it is time to allow ourselves to say yes to what is next. And that's what the Five of Cups is, a meeting point of those two states. They're not mutually exclusive. They're often in dialogue. And we have to find a way to let both of those states speak as we're shifting and transitioning. Now, Five of Cups for me, when you are making a new agreement with how you want to play out your identity in the world, when you're making a new agreement about living in new spaces, taking up new identities as a partner, as a lover, as a friend, as a creator, you have to also mourn any of the fear-based selves or any of the selves that maybe no longer can come with you. And so there's always that bittersweetness of a new beginning being at the threshold of Five of Cups. So the moon cycles always help us with these check-ins. That's why it's so great to have a couple very distinct points in time with moon energy every month where we get to do that. Because the healthiest way to do this type of work is to kind of just check in with it, do micro check-ins, do regular check-ins rather than letting it pile up for 6 months and then having a crash, right? So Five of Cups is that meeting point between the bittersweetness of letting go of what's no longer serving, strength, wow, and really steadily embracing the bold version of who we want to be next. I'm going to pull one more card, Ace of Wands. Lots of new beginnings. And I have to say, actually, the bottom of the deck, Empress, let's include her because Uranus is in Taurus after all, and Venus is in Libra. So Venusian energy and the Venusian influence is really strong in this moon. So love, beauty, connection, and boldness are all really big energies here. So we start with Five of Cups. What party doesn't start with a good greeting? We just talked through that. And I find this energy amplifies and it gets a lot stronger when we have this much bold commitment energy going on, right? Like an Ace of Swords, strength, Ace of Wands, Empress. So the aces are that bold cutting through, opening up, opening that chapter, saying yes, right? Like saying yes, using your voice, using your creative juices, getting out there, sending your message, letting people know where you're at, letting yourself know, communicating with yourself first and foremost, but then that boldness, right? Ace of Swords and Ace of Wands are very bold aces. They are about taking action and sharing your voice. Really strong, vibrant energies. You look at these and they are just, these are masculine principles. Swords and Wands, air and fire are masculine. They're action taking, right? And they're met here by two beautiful ladies. These represent Leo and Taurus, right? Fixed sign energy, sustaining and nurturing energy too. And the thing with strength and Empress and the way that these aces are sandwiched in here with these strong, stable, sustaining energies is that whatever is getting opened up during this Libra new moon, these are not things that are just passing. Right? These are not things that sometimes, we have that fun, vibrant time where it's like, yeah, I'll show up to that concert. Fun. Great. That's a fun invitation. You're not talking about sustaining a lifestyle based on that one fun evening that you're going to have with friends or that one fun event. That's great. That's fun. But this is the type of yes that's about something much longer. This is like way longer transit kind of energy going on here. So the things that are coming up, the agreements you're making with yourself and who you want to be and act in the world, where you're opening up doors, where you're sharing of your heart, where you're deeply connecting, these are things about sustaining and nurturing in the long range. So the energies themselves are very much like, let's get things moving, let's go, let's play, let's move on things, right? But I want you to just kind of remember that it's also okay. The things you're saying yes to, the conversations you're having for the few days around this new moon are opening up something much longer range. So you don't have to worry about getting all your results in during this new moon, but you're getting a bit of a sneak peek. And you'll be noticing that the things that are working, the things that are flowing, the things that are very Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, they are about something bigger. They are about saying yes to something much bigger, and something that will go forward. For some of you, for several years. This Taurus, the Uranus and Taurus transit's getting lit up here. And Uranus and Taurus is going to be working with us for 7 or 8 years now, you know, and so a lot of the things that are getting activated this year and into early 2020 are foundational in nature. Not everybody's going to have that experience with this new moon. It really depends on your chart, depends on where you are in life. It depends on what you're willing to receive and the type of yeses you want to have in your life, because sometimes we just need to be saying yes to the next thing, right? So it's interesting that I'm talking about this saying yes to big, long-range things and not having all the answers. So you're going to be feeling the impact of this enough to need to mourn what's been. And that is going to make you want to have steps 3 through 20 prepared for you and given to you when you're only going to get step 1 and 2, maybe 2, during this moon cycle. So you're going to have to just choose, you know, vulnerability and choosing to be on a path that's authentic to us means we just need to decide that we are going to choose that path and stop waffling on that part of the journey. The rest of the discernment, the rest of the choices will come in alignment with our choice to be truly authentic to what we need and where we are in our lives. And that's what I want you to focus on, is that core principle. That core principle of saying yes when it comes to what makes sense for us moving forward. And also that core principle of where it's time to shed, where it's time to say that's not working for me. Now we will continue that conversation with the Aries full moon about shedding and releasing and preparing and opening. That will be the next part of this whole journey. And, you know, Aries full moon is an extremely powerful moon every year. It tends to land in early October. It will this year, and we're starting to get a lot more Scorpio energy going on. So a lot of that Martial, Aries, Scorpio energy starts getting highlighted, and then we're really talking about sacrifice and renewal. So with that being said, though, this moon is about the feminine principle of opening up our hearts, believing in truth, love, and beauty, connecting with those things. It's very Venusian, it's very buoyant, it's very playful, and it's not about being dreamy and watery. You know, we had that Pisces full moon, and it kind of took us to some deep depths, and we were floating out there in this really powerful energy. This moon's a little bit more down here in the world, how it wants to show up in your conversations and your actions and the way you're moving things through the world. And I think that will also feel really supportive and really good. So I'm excited. I was like, when I sat down and looked at this moon, I was like, ooh, we need this. We need this Libra full new moon. We need this moment. It's perfect too, because we'll have just entered into Libra season a handful of days before, and we'll have just had that equinox shift into this next season. So it's a really perfect point, whether you're in the southern or the northern hemisphere. You know, the seasonal change is always, I find the equinox is honestly one of the best check-in points, more so than the solstices, because you can feel that tilt. There's that balancing and that tilt. And so this new moon is really emphasizing that feeling of shift, either into spring or to autumn, that happens. I know I am feeling that autumn feeling so powerfully right now, where it's like preparing for this next season of life is really strong. I think I'm going to be feeling this moon and really enjoying it. I think you guys will too, for the most part. So I'm really excited to share it with you. You can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba. I did let my inside circle know that the autumn calendar is open. So for those of you who have been wanting to work with me, I think there's still a few spots open for the end of 2019. And I haven't started working on the 2020 calendar yet, but we'll get there. So if you're still looking for a one-on-one session, you can check out my bookings page. I'll leave the link in the description box below, so you can go check that out if you're interested in working with me and want to grab one of the last sessions available for the end of 2019. You can check out PinkLune. She's been selling these beautiful amethysts, and this is one that she gave me. Oh, and I know she's been doing a lot of projects with those, so things for your altar. So if you're looking for that, you can go check her out. She's one of my besties, a Taurus. Love you, girl. And yeah, I'm really excited for this new moon. Enjoy it, savor it. I love you guys so much. There's a lot more up my sleeve, and I'm really excited to share the October readings with you coming up. They may already be out depending on when you're watching this, but there's so much more to come, and I am feeling so good. I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful new moon.